Hello, this is Mish, and welcome to another Westworld video. This one is a Westworld Season 1 finale predictions video. So being that it's the finale coming up on us very fast, I thought it would be a little bit of fun just to try and predict the conclusion around some characters, stories and plot lines. So I have three main topics I want to talk about. The Wyatt storyline, that involves Dolores and Arnold, William, Logan, and who becomes the Man in Black, and does Maeve escape? So let's start with the Wyatt storyline and how I think it ties in with Arnold. Not only Arnold, but also Dolores as well. So we've heard Ford mention the Wyatt narrative has its base on fact. So the fact around this story, I think what we can see is we have Teddy involved. So we've seen Teddy's flashbacks to Escalante, him and Wyatt, killing everyone in the town. But last week we saw a flashback where things become clearer to Teddy, and he's actually not killing soldiers. He is killing innocent people, well, innocent hosts. Now, I want to tie that in with Dolores' flashbacks. So she has had flashbacks of that same scenario of someone killing the hosts in that area. And I think we can say it's probably Teddy doing that. But I'm going to put her in that same scenario. So I think what has happened is initially when Arnold was messing around with the bicameral mind, and we see all the people, the crazy hosts in the church. In that time period, I think Teddy and Dolores, somehow maybe it was the voice of God that they heard, or maybe there was some other reason why, but I think they have gone on a killing spree together. And that is what we're seeing. And that is the fact around Ford's new narrative. That there were two people, they went crazy, and they killed the entire town. Now, just to add on to that, there's a part here where we see Wyatt kill a general. And it was specifically mentioned that Wyatt killed the general. And we see a little footage of that. I want to replace that, because that's obviously a reference to the Ford narrative. But I want to change that. And instead of the general, I'm going to put Arnold there. And instead of Wyatt, once again, I'll put Dolores there. So I think that scenario is probably how Dolores killed Arnold. So how that ties in to Ford's new narrative, I'm not 100% sure. But I think the fact part, the reference, I think that's how it played out. Dolores and Teddy destroying the town ended up in killing Arnold. But maybe we're going to see that, the same scenario kind of play out where we have Teddy and Wyatt destroying a large population of the town, and maybe that's the whole narrative, and that ties in there. But I think there's a lot more to Ford's narrative, but I don't want to get into that because that could be a massive conversation, a massive video just on that topic. So let's move over to William, Logan, and the Man in Black. Now, we know that the park publicly announced that it had a death 30 years ago, but the part I want to talk about here is we all know that Arnold's death has been, smothered or hidden away. It was brushed under the mat. It's not a publicly known thing because the partnership in itself is also hidden. No one in theory should know about it, apart from a few people that have figured it out. So the death that's been referred to 30 years ago. Now it could be that is a reference to the movie, the Westworld movie. And that was, in 73, I think it was. But I think the death that they're referring to is going to occur from William and Logan. So I think we're going to get Dolores killing one of those characters. Now, obviously, if she kills William, then William can't become the Man in Black. And same with Logan. I'm heavily in the camp that William is the Man in Black. It's been suggested throughout the show for a long time. But I do want it to be Logan, as I would prefer. It makes more sense in my mind of his development and his character that he becomes the Man in Black. But either way, I think that situation is going to play out where Dolores has to make a split decision, and she manages to kill somebody. And that kind of references back to her killing Arnold as well. She manages to break that code, the base code where she can't hurt a human, and she did. So I think we're going to see that situation play out again, and it's going to be William or Logan that cops it. But the question is who. I think it's probably going to be Logan that dies, but I would like to see it to be William instead. But that is a personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Who do you think it's going to be? it will be interesting to see the comments after the episode has been released. That would be pretty cool. Okay, so the final topic is Maeve. Does she escape? And what is she going to escape to? So with the promo for the finale, we can see two things going on. We can see Maeve recruiting. She has Hector and Hector's gang, and also she seems to be going to the basement to maybe recruit more people. The strange thing about that is, if that situation was to occur, which it obviously does, because we see what looks to be the demise of quite a few staff members at the hands of Hector and his gang. But how does it then occur that we see a scene with Maeve walking down towards the escalator and towards the train in a perfectly calm scenario? I don't know how you can go from one to the other. The only thing I can think that how this all plays out is that Maeve is involved with the kind of the uprising, and we see probably the uprising squashed or quelled, and the only person that manages to escape possibly is Maeve. So maybe her higher intelligence is that it keeps her alive and keeps her hidden, or maybe keeps her unable to be affected by Ford's control. The rest of the uprising is quelled, but Maeve manages to walk out. So she walks down the escalator and onto the train. But what is she going to see? What's going to play out on the other side of that train? That is going to be fascinating to see. But before I talk about that, let's talk about, will Maeve fix Bernard? Because we see Maeve go down to the basement and she approaches Clementine, and that was the scene where Bernard has been shot himself. So a few things with that. Did Bernard even shoot himself? Is his body going to be there? Is he in a state where he can be repaired? Because we know that the host can be repaired in some pretty bad states, but whether or not he's done enough damage that he can't be repaired, that's a tricky situation, because we've seen that the way Clementine was lobotomized was pretty serious, drill into the brain. So has Bernard done enough damage that he can't come back from that point? I think the story around Bernard is probably finished for the season. I think we'll either get a hint that she does repair him, then we'll see him next season, or we won't see him at all and he'll be gone. And then that would suggest that someone else has done something with him, or maybe Ford has wiped him and disposed of the body. Okay, so now let's talk about, if Maeve escapes, what will she see? So this is just a quick topic about this, but a quick talk, because I want to get more in depth about these topics after the season finale. But I guess I did a video on this initially, and it had some awesome feedback. It was really cool. So the topic on what is she going to see if she gets out? Well, one question will be, is she going to be able to get out? Did they remove that piece of her spine that disabled her ability to get out? And are there any more fail-safes? Because we know Ford and Arnold put a lot of fail-safes all over the place, so possibly there's more. So she might not even get out. Even if she gets on the train, something might happen, she might not make it. But if she does get out, what are we going to see? What is she going to see? So I'll list a few options for awesome theories that I've heard throughout this season for the situation that Westworld is in. So one of them is just a futuristic Earth that we're in now. So just Earth, maybe add 100 years on top of that. Another one will be, so Earth in the future, but the park is located in a strange location. So possibly underground. That's a pretty cool one. Underwater, which there is sometimes a suggestion of water underwater around the park, because we see in the basement levels water spewing in. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's underwater, but it's a cool idea anyway. Another one which I've always thought is a very interesting idea, and is probably the most sensical so far out of the crazy ideas, would be the Westworld is located in space on some futuristic spaceship. Is it, and I guess that they can maybe distort reality on that spaceship. So that would be pretty cool. So somehow, the train system turns into train to spaceship to train, I don't know. But, they're pretty cool ideas. Another one which I think I did think was pretty cool initially, but I'm kind of gone off it a bit now, is on a different planet. So, Mars or some other planet which has a similar gravity or environment to Earth that obviously we haven't discovered yet. That's another cool one. But the reason why I don't think so is that the history that they refer to. So we've seen Ford mention Neanderthals, and we have the Men in Black mention, society, and we have conversations about society. For me, it's just too similar to Earth to be on another planet like that. Because I think, we even referenced to Ford mentioning that we've wiped out everything. Earth is probably the most likely thing for me. But one theory that I'd still really like, it's not as cut and dry as just to say a simulation. Because as soon as you say simulation, people start going Matrix. It's just like the Matrix. That's all we're talking about here. I don't think so. I think that we could get a situation where we're distorting reality. That maybe we have some way that, the size of the complex is being distorted by reality. And that the way physics work within the park is once again distorted because it doesn't seem to make sense. I know people have referenced to futuristic technology around metal and physics, but sure, we can say that. But for me, another option here is let's go full crazy and say that somehow this is a simulation or part simulation. I don't think it's full simulation, and then people can say, well, why would you bother with a robotic uprising in a simulation? Or why would you bother with a situation where, if it was a simulation, that you have to go through the process of disposing of robots and making robots? But once again, I think it's something that we don't understand. But for me, the whole concept around partial simulation, something which is distorting reality, it kind of makes sense, because there's been many things that don't add up in this world. And then the one line that I always fall back on that Ford said is that they built everything here, even down to the blade of grass, which to me means that there's something that they've done that we don't understand. To say a line like that, it's more of a teaser that there's something around the world which is going to reveal at some point. So just a quick recap. What are we going to get at the end of this finale? So I think we will get a conclusion on the Men in Black. I think we'll find who that person turns out to be. I think we will also hear the narrative and also the reference to around the fact around the narrative and where it came from, and maybe even see the situation where Arnold was killed. I think we will see a lot of action from Maeve and Hector and the gang and a few other hosts rising up, but once again I think they will be quelled. But I think Maeve will still manage to somehow get out, or be on the verge of getting out. Then that will be the end of the season. And the same thing for Bernard. I think we're going to get maybe a little suggestion that something has happened to him, and we won't find out. But anyway, I'll leave this here. I don't want it to be too long, just a short little predictions video, as we don't have long till the episode comes out. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and comment, as that's why I do these reviews, these theories, these predictions, to really get that feedback from you guys and have that debate about these topics, because it's really fun. I really enjoy it. So once again, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down if you didn't like it, and share the video if you enjoyed it, as trying to get the word out on the channel and trying to grow the channel as well, which will be nice. So I'll leave this video here, and until next time, this is Mish, and I'll see you later.